Yo. I mean, I don't like to be that guy, and I never want a game to be bad, but I told you so. I told you so. I mean, again, I'm not always right when it comes to a lot of these games, but a lot of the things, dude, I've been paying attention to the gaming industry for a long time, just as an enthusiast and as a consumer and stuff. And I'm not always right, and I will absolutely eat my words, and I will retract statements, and I will tell whenever I have been wrong about something. I have no problem with that. Now I'm easily I'm quick to admit whenever I've made a mistake, but quite often whenever I have been paying attention to the development process of a game, I see indicators that show me that there's enough to be concerned about with a game prior to its release, where I start advising people they should just at least wait and see. 8 to 9 times out of 10 I'm right, and not trying to be conceited about it or anything. It's not what I want. I mean, it's just a fact. I have been wrong as well, like with Atomic Heart. I thought there was reason for concern with that game, but it turned out to be pretty decent on release, content and performance wise, and I've told people that I was wrong on that front. But Suicide Squad is one that I've told people you should be weary of this. You should be hesitant about this. Nobody should be buying this on release or pre-order or anything. You should be waiting until reviews come out so you can see what the game's going to be reviewed like before you decide to spend money on this game, because the developer doesn't deserve it as far as I'm concerned. With everything I've seen through the development process, too many concerns, too many red flags, and here we are. Nobody can play it. Nobody can play the game. And this is where we are right now. So the full release hasn't even happened, right? Full release hasn't happened, doesn't happen until the 2nd. And this is the only info we have on reviews or critiques about the way the game plays is there have been a very, very limited number of outlets that got their hands on an early version of the game before the early access even started. And they were even confirming a lot of my notions about the game being very mediocre. And but it was limited, right? And we need a larger data set. I say that all the time. A review process for games is something that is good to go off of, but it's not necessarily always going to be indicative of what your experience is going to be in a game either, right? But the more data you have in reviews, the more data you have for that data set to go off of, to give you a baseline to show you what the experience as a whole has been for everybody playing that game, is a pretty good indicator of where you're going to sit in your experience for the game, right? So right now there's very limited, but it has shown a lot of the same things I was worried about. Now, the game released in early access, and the servers are balls. It's actually just like people are starting the game and it's going, you already completed this game, you can't play it anymore. Like stuff like that, so people that bought into these stupid and I feel bad for people that get baited into this mechanic. It's terrible, but the people that bought into the mechanic of pay us $30 more for the deluxe edition and you can be what is, again, I'll stick to the same notion, a final beta tester, so you can play the game 3 days early, right? I told you, all you are is a final beta tester, and you can't. I mean, these people that bought into this premise of getting to play the game early, you aren't even able to play the game now. Yeah, and I mean this happens all the time, whether it be just a bug-ridden early access, you know, being able to access the game earlier than the base release. Most of the time you're just a final beta tester is all it is. And you're paying for it. You're paying for that access. And a substantial amount of money too, which is asinine. It's really gross. So that's brings us into talking about this, right? Suicide Squad Deluxe Edition goes offline after launch due to bug. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League goes offline an hour after launch following reports of a bug frustrating gamers with early access. The early access launch of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been temporarily shut down following reports of a bug that automatically completes the game. According to Video Game Chronicle and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's official X, or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, developer Rocksteady pulled the plug on the always online Suicide Squad game after going live for about 1 full hour. While the official release of the game isn't until February 2nd, buyers of the $100 US, that's US currency, $100, Deluxe Edition were meant to have 72 hours of early access before the release of the Standard Edition. Again, this is something that has been happening in the world of gaming for such a very long time now. And what has become so gross about it is that it's literally it does nothing for gamers. It's just a hype mechanic for the people that absolutely cannot wait to play this game. You can pay us a substantial amount more money to get in here and play 3 days early, when quite often, dude, I'm talking most of the time, you're just literally being a final beta tester. You're helping flesh out the issues the game still has, so that some, real quick patching can be done and stuff to make the game feel a little bit better for all the people that are going to play it on the full release. Because, it's just disgusting. You can go back and look at the history of the way this stuff works. It's all the time. And the people that buy into this are feeding a terrible, terrible mechanic for the way the publishers and developers approach this type of scheme in the industry for releasing these products to us. It, in my opinion, does nothing for most people to get in here and play these games early anyways, as a game player, right? It's just there's people that for some reason can't deal with waiting 3 more days to play the actual release date. They just can't stand the hype, It's just too much for them. It's crazy, man. However, within the early time frame of a release, owners of the Deluxe Edition discovered their main story campaign was already completed after logging onto the game for the first time. Quote, "We are aware that a number of players are currently experiencing an issue whereby upon logging into the game for the first time, they have full story completion," the official Suicide Squad game Twitter account said. "To resolve this issue, we will be performing maintenance on the game servers. During this time, the game will be unavailable. We expect this to take several hours, and we'll update once we have more information. We apologize for the inconvenience. At the moment, there's no indication of how long Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will be offline. Unlike the situation with Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox, there are no holidays that would seriously impact work on patching out the autocomplete bug. That said, owners of the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League Digital Deluxe Edition are upset that their $100 purchase feels currently worthless after losing one of its pricey perks. In addition to early game access, the Digital Deluxe version also included cosmetics and 1 Battle Pass token." The latest news is another setback for the polarizing Suicide Squad video game. The anti-villain live service game failed to make a splash during its PlayStation State of Play reveal last year and suffered a major delay afterward. Most of the game's criticism has centered around its questionable execution of the live service format. Yes,